Sacagawea. I was born in 1788 or 1789. And I was named Sacagawea, but everyone called me Bordelon because that's what Sacagawea meant. In 1798, I was captured by the Minatary Indians. I was sold by the Minatary Indians to my future husband, but he was way older than me. In 1804, Thomas Jefferson set out an expedition with Lewis and Clark. I joined them on their expedition, and during that time, I had a son. His name was John Baptist. Everyone called him Pomfrey. On May 14, 1804, I saved medicines that fell overboard a boat. And on the expedition, we passed where my homeland was, and I saw that my brother Camerlet was chief. I returned from the expedition in 1806, and I died on December 12, 1802. Died on December 20th, 1812, on April 9th, 1884 in South Dakota. But it is more common that people say that I died on April 9th, 1884 in South Dakota. Hello, I was born in the mid-1800s. 18 Dawson came from they were very sick and needed nursing. My dream was to be a nurse. When I grew older, there were hospitals that needed some people, so I took the job. I told my parents there were jobs open. Mom cried, Dad was shocked. Dad said, I raised you to be rich, not poor. But I did not give up. A month later, they said they did not need me. After that, I found out that they never had a nurse for the Army. That was my dream. After that, I taught people at a nursing school, like how to fix legs and take care of people. I died on August 13th, London, England. My legacy was I gave courage to do something no girl had ever done, to be the first nurse ever. Thank you. My name is JFK. That stands for John F. Kennedy. I was born on May 29, 1917. The F in John F. Kennedy stands for Fitzgerald. I lived in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. When I was 2, I had this illness called the scarlet fever. My mother and father prayed by my bedside for 2 months, hoping I would get better. I had 4 brothers and 5 sisters. One of my brothers, Joe Jr., always bossed me around. My favorite sister was Kathleen. When I was older, I would play good-natured tricks on people. One time, I even dressed up as a police officer. In 1940, I saved a man from drowning by clenching my teeth to his life jacket. After swimming for 8 hours, I came to shore with a man on my back. After that fiasco, I became president. One of my famous quotes is this: ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I had 2 children, Caroline and John Jr. I married Jackie in 1953. In October 1962, I confronted the Cuban Missile Crisis. I got assassinated on November 22nd, 1963 by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Thank you. My name is Neil Armstrong. When I was little, my house was filled with model airplanes I made. I was born August 5th, 1930. July 20th, 1969, I went to the moon. When I was a little older, I became a teacher. I had 3 jobs: a pilot, an astronaut, and a teacher. I was famous because I was the first person to step on the moon.
Hi, my name is Krista McCall. I was born on September 2nd, 1948 in Massachusetts. I had 4 sisters and 4 brothers, and I was the oldest. As a child, I always had the dream of being an astronaut because I loved space. When I was older, I married Stephen McAuliffe, and I became a high school teacher. One day, I saw a contest for the first teacher to go up in space. I thought that this would be my chance to make my dream come true. So I entered the contest. I won the contest. On January 28, 1986, I aborted the spaceship Challenger. But unfortunately, 73 seconds after takeoff, the Challenger exploded, and I died. Hello, world's greatest escape artist. I was born in 1874, March 24th. It was early in the history of America, and I was in Germany. My father and I raised enough money to go to America. I ran away from home several times to make money. In 48-94, I got married with Bess. I was only 19 and she was 18. I was interested in escapes. The hardest of the mirror cuffs, which took a British designer 5 years to make, but took me only 1 hour to escape from. Also, was a Chinese water torture cell. I was attached to a wooden log and lowered into a metal cage filled with water. When I got older, my mother died. I became interested in spiritualism, so I could see if I could contact her. Spiritualism is when people try to contact the dead, but it is almost always fake. I was looking to see if I could do it, but I was also taking out the fakes. I died October 31st, 1926, on Halloween.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Rudolph Diesel. I was born March 18, 1858 in Paris, France. They call me the father of the diesel engine because I perfected the automobile engine and the diesel gas. It was a tough fight versus Otto and the silent Otto. He made it bad and I made it better. I worked at Augsburg Engine Works and married Martha Flashy. I made mistakes but fixed it. Engines exploded, and I put a cooler in it so it didn't explode that much. Before that, I was a refrigerator painter. I got money and I worked at the shop. Carnot Nicholas Sadie helped me go to history. He taught me things that I needed to know and some other things. In late September, I went to history on a steamboat, but I didn't make it. I died. Like I always said, the automobile engine will come and then I will consider my life's work done.
Thank you. I'm Amelia Earhart. Let's get started with my life. I was born in Atchison, Kansas on July 24th, 1897. When I was young, I was interested in planes. I saw a plane at a museum, and they were not common. All I really saw flying were birds. That made me curious. When I was a little older, there was World War I, and I was a nurse. After that, there was women's suffrage. Then I saw an air show, and I was fascinated. That's when I wanted to be a pilot. Someone asked me to fly from California to Honolulu. I did it and made it. I tried to fly around the world and suddenly vanished. Some people say I was a prisoner and other people say I died. People will never know. Thank you. I'm Rosa Parks. I was born February 4th, 1913. Black 2 students walked to school. When I was little, blacks and whites were separated. That was called segregation. When I was little, I worked on my grandparents' farm picking cotton. My grandpa brought a gun to protect us from the KKK. The KKK means Ku Klux Klan. One day, I did not want to move to the back of the bus because I'm black. I got arrested. This started a bus boycott and I became famous. I died. 2005.
Oh, thank you. I'm Steve Jobs. I was born February 24th, 1955. When I was younger, I loved machines and mechanics, and my dad fixed machines and mechanics for a living. So I loved to watch him work. When I was 5, I built myself a working bench. Some of the trades when I was younger is inventive and mechanical. When I got a little older, I started a company that would create new video games. When I was in that company, I created the Apple computer. And when I had enough money, I would go to India. When I was about to go to India, a store owner found out about the Apple computer. He was willing to pay $25,000 to put the Apple computer in his store. When I got older, my mother died in 1967. So my legacy was the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, and the Apple computer. My adversity was when I got adopted and my mother's death. I was famous for the iPod, iPad, iPhone, and Apple computer. I invented the Apple computer in 1947 and the iPod in 2001, the iPad in 2011, and iPhone in 2007. I died 2011.
Thank you. My name is Annie Miller. I was born on August 13th, 1860. It was the late 1800s, women didn't shoot, but I became a famous sharpshooter. Even as a young girl, I loved hunting with my father. He died when I was 5 years old, leaving my mother with 6 young children to care for. My mother sent me to live at the infirmary, but they put me in charge of the cows. I saw to it that I did so well I got a raise. I saw to it that every kid had a glass of milk. I entered lots, many shooting competitions. Eventually I went so many local turkey shoots I wasn't allowed to enter. So I shot down birds and sold those. Then one of the hotel owners that sold the birds I shot had the idea of putting me in a shooting match. The prize of $100, a huge sum, was irresistible. I competed against Frank Butler, and less than a year later, we were married. Then I joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. And 17 years later, the train cracked. A freight train smashed the SO train head on, and I suffered serious injuries to my head and back. After that, I got into a car accident and never entirely recovered. I would like to be remembered for women can fend for themselves and are equal to men.
Hello, my name is Paul Revere. I was born December 1734 in Boston. There were 15,000 people living in Boston at the time. When I was little, I attended a writing school. I left when I was 13 to become an apprentice, as most boys did. I was brave. I volunteered in the French, Indian, and Revolutionary War. As teenagers, my friends and I loved belts. We made a belt club. The Battle of Bunker Hill was the bloodiest part of the Revolutionary War. When I was older, I went to Sam Adams' house. While I was going, I said, "The regulars are coming out to warn everyone." I am famous for my famous midnight ride, April 18, 1775. I said this to warn the people. The regulars, British professional soldiers, are coming out.
My name is Helen Kellen. I was born on June 27, 1880 in Escoma, Alabama. I spoke early. When I was 2, I was blind and deaf. I was very sad because I didn't speak and made a turn on this. When I was older, I would play tricks. 1885, my sister Myrtleen was born and I hated her. Annie Sylvester came on March 3rd, 1887. On April 5th, 1887, I stopped being a bad girl and learned good now. I was an author and went on stage. I I went swimming in the ocean, no to stop. My dream was to speak. I climbed all the way on the Statue of Liberty. I was smart and blind and deaf. I gave money to the blind people. I was married to John Lindsay in 1905. I died on June 1, 1968 when I was 87.
Hello, my name is George Washington. I was born in 1732. I looked a lot like my mother, and I was a great horseback rider. A little later, I lived with my brother, and my brother died in 1752. I took his place in the militia. Then, a little later, I married Martha. I had a daughter named Patsy and a son named Jackie. I was elected president. Then I won the war. Then I was elected again. I died in 1799. Martha died in 1802.
Hello, my name is Mark Twain. I was born in 1835. My real name was Samuel Clemens. The school was off the ground, so pigs would come and hide under there. And when passing dogs would pass the school in church, it would make a huge ruckus. We had 2 big lanes the size of 2 football fields. A day of rain would turn them into ankle-deep mud, and then a few hot days would turn them to dust. My first job was when I was 11 at the Hannibal Career. It wasn't very pleasant. I had to light the stove that heated the building, get water from outside, wash the machines, hand type papers, hand wrap 350, and hand deliver 100 of them. Then I set off to go to South America. On the way there, I asked the captain if he could teach. I changed my mind, so I asked the captain if he could teach me how to drive a steamboat, and I did that for about half my life. Then, later, I got a permanent job as an author and wrote my many famous books, like Life at Tom Sawyer's Cabin and Tom Sawyer's Adventures, and Halley's Comet reappeared like it did when I was born on April 20th, 1910, and a day later I died.
My name is Wilbur. Orville was born in 1871. I was only 4. We got a special toy. We made a better version of it, and it was a flying version of a bat. The barn we worked in caught on fire. We went back to Ohio and went to school. They did not believe we went to 6th grade. We did not believe Orville went to 6th grade. And our mother died in 1889. We got a printing job, and in 1903 we made the plane. And Wilbur died in 1912, and Orville died in 1948.
Hi, my name is Helen Cadler, and I'm speaking of Helen. I was born on June 27, 1880, and life was great. But that day, it all changed. I got brain fever, which is some sort of brain fever. After a while, I got better and was fine, but I wasn't. I was blind and deaf. But my parents did everything they could to help me. Eventually, they found a teacher named Anne Commander Sullivan who could help me. I studied very hard every day, and in 1936, Anne Sullivan died. It was very, very hard after that. I did many speeches without her. I died on June 1st, 1968, age of 87, and my legacy is my courage for blind and deaf people.
Thank you. My name is Alexander Brandon. I was born in Edinburgh on March 3rd, 1847. When I was 10, I made my dog talk by opening his mouth and pressing this aside. When I was an adult, my brothers died from a lung disease. Then I got a lung disease and moved to Canada, hoping that I would get better in the fresh country air. A year later, I started teaching at a school for deaf children. I also gave private lessons. I used visual speech to teach them how to talk. I made the telephone and got married to Mabel Hubbard. Mabel convinced me to drop the K in my name. My child died 2 months after he was born. The person got shot by a bullet, and I used a machine that I made that can sense a bullet in a human's body. I couldn't find the bullet in time. I died in August 2nd, 1922, and they used my metal detector until we made the X-ray.
Hi, I am Ferdinand Magellan. I was born in 1480. As a child, as most boys are, at the age of 12 in 1492, I became a government clerk and set up expeditions for the King of Spain. Later on in my life, since I knew so much about expeditions, I decided maybe to kind of start sailing. So I decided to set up an expedition. As I did, the Spanish king financed my expedition, and we set sail in 1518, not knowing what would come to us in the seas. In this, not knowing where half of the earth or what the earth was at the time, I spent our winter near Antarctica. As we did, we were losing food. I didn't know why. He had sent us so much food. Then I realized the Portuguese king took half of our food because I had betrayed him. After all the food ran out, our crew began to get a disease called scurvy. Our lips turned blue and our teeth started falling out. It was horrible. One by one we died. We'd wrap our crew in gauze and throw each person off the ship as they died. After that, people believed that our crew killed me in a mutiny, but they didn't. I actually died trying to conquer the Philippines for their spices. As I did, because this whole expedition was to find El Paso, the path to the Moluccas, where the Spice Islands. But I decided to stop in the Philippines to try to conquer their spices first, along the way. I did. I tried. Only 11 out of 49 men of mine went to try to fight thousands of people from the Philippines. As I tried to fight, many people retreated. The others died. I tried to retreat, but with my permanent limp from the war, I died. They knocked my helmet off with rocks, and I died in 1521.
Hi, I'm Pocahontas. I was born in 1595. I lived in a tribe called the Powhatan tribe. I lived in a teepee with my father and two brothers. I enjoyed playing with all of the other kids. I was held prisoner when I was a young woman. I saved a man named John Smith. My father was going to kill him. I went to Jamestown with John Smith, and a man named John Ralph asked me to marry him. I agreed to. I had a baby boy named Thomas. I grew very, very sick. I died when I was only 21. I left behind my son and my husband. I am Mia Hill. I was born on March 17, 1972 in Selma, Alabama. When I was little, I started playing soccer when I was a few years old. I had 5 brothers and sisters. I played soccer with the boys because they were better competition. When I was 14 years old, Coach John Casper came to one of my soccer games and wanted me to play for Team USA. When I was 15, I was selected to be on Team USA. In 1989, Coach Jordan offered me a scholarship to the University of North Carolina. I accepted. When I was older, I broke almost every record in women's soccer. In 1997, my brother died. I was really sad. I scored more than 100 career goal in 1998. I am famous because I leading scorer with 158 goals, more than any male or female. Team USA won the Olympic gold medals in 1996, the Good World Games in 1998, and the World Cup in 1999. I love soccer.
Thank you. My name is Eleanor Roosevelt. Let's carry on with my life. In the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, rich people and poor were separated. I, Eleanor Roosevelt, was born October 11, 1884. My family was a rich family. When I was little, I rode a ship called the Britannic. It was sinking, but I managed to get off in time. That moment got me my courage. In 1892, my mom died. In 1894, my father died. That was some of the adversity I had to face. Now I was an orphan. I lived with my grandmother and my brother. My grandmother sent me to a French school where I got high grades and I was a great student. After I graduated from college, I married Franklin Roosevelt, who ran for president in one. Now he was a first lady with tons of responsibilities, and some of them were to be a teacher, a newspaper columnist. The list goes on. I am famous for helping and caring for people. And I'm famous because I proved first ladies can do more than just sit around. I died at the age of 78 in 1962.
Hi, I'm Shirley Temple. I was born in 1934 on April 23rd. I lived in California. I was 3.5 years old when I learned how to tap dance. Here is a quote. When I was 14, I was the oldest I ever was. I've been getting younger ever since. And I got married, and I still tap dance, and I got married, I got represented by President Roosevelt. At age 45, I got married to John Anger Jr., and then I got remarried to Charles Black. I had a baby boy named Charles, named after my husband. And then I performed in lots of movies, including Poor Little Rich Kid and Curly Top. I went to the Kentucky Center for Performing Arts in 2005, and that is my life story.
In the early and mid-1800s and
slaves. Slaves were just like pieces of property for no cost they had to do no work, or else they would get whipped or worse. I was born Mary in about 1821. I married John Tubman, who betrayed me and told me if I ran away he would tell the master, but that didn't stop me. I decided after all the time wishing to be free, I would finally make my move and be free. I ran across the Mason-Dixon line, risking my life to save others. I fought in the war for non-slavery. I want you to know as a woman risking my life, knowing I could die doing this.
I was born August 19th, 1871 in Dayton, Ohio. At age 5, my dad gave me, Wilbur, and I a new toy. It was called a gyroscopic toy. In 1878, I was 7, and our family moved to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. At age 10, I had a hobby making kites. On June 1884, our family moved back to Dayton, Ohio. Our mother died of a sickness in 1889. Wilbur and I were riding bikes in 1892. That was one of the new things. In 1899, Wilbur and I built a new plane. It was called the biplane plane. One of our first planes crashed on the first try, and it only lasted 12 seconds. A couple years later, I died of a heart attack on October 10th, 1947, at age 77.
My name is Leonardo da Vinci. I was born April 15th, 1452 in Vinci, Italy. My mother and father weren't married, so I lived with my father, Sir Piero, for some time. Then I was sent to my uncle, Francesco. There I went to the orchard and the river to draw trees, docks, and the waterfall. At the age 15, I was an apprentice of a painting master named Verrocchio. At the age 20, I was a master painter. I was accepted in the Painters Guild. My paintings look more alive with movement, drama, with light and shadow to look three-dimensional. In Milan, I painted The Last Supper, one of my famous paintings. Later on, I painted the Mona Lisa. I kept it all my life, trying to perfect it. The weird thing about it is that its eyes are always following me. I was not just a painter. I was an architect, mechanic, inventor, and an engineer. I studied the human body and made a robot. It could sit up, wave its arm, and turn its head. I also made war machines and a tank. Later, the French king, Francis I, invited me to stay at his court. He gave me a country house. Later on, I had stroke. I died May 2nd,